Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I'm your host Mark, and today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by, and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Alright, here we have a look at the front of the box, and I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that this is some CG work right here. This is some CG poses, some CG figure renders. I'm not sure you can get these Spider-Man figures in these particular poses. Although, once we get this package opened up, we're certainly going to try. You can see Marvel Legends series in the upper left corner. It's got the Tobey, the Tom, and the Andrew Spider-Man right there on what looks to be, you know, a Statue of Liberty type structure. Marvel's Studios Spider-Man No Way Home logo, and a bunch of legal stuff right there on the front. As this isn't a store, like a retail release, I guess they can do what they want with the front of this, and you know, if they have to put a bunch of stuff like that, legal stuff on the front, I guess it's okay, since this isn't going in a store where they just put it on the back of the package. Taking a look at the back of the package, you can see again more renders of the figures. Again, this is totally some CG renders here, as the webbing on Tobey's Spider-Man is like laughably insanely brightly lit and silver, because the figure itself definitely does not look like that, nor are the colors that's bright on the Andrew Spider-Man. You can also see all the hands and accessories and webs and stuff that they come with, and they're missing three important ones, and that would be unmasked heads. Boy, I wish we really had those. That would have been a plus. No matter what they would have charged us, I would have preferred to have those extra heads. On the sides of the package, you can see some beautiful artwork of the characters coming together, the three different Spider-Man coming together. And they didn't just reuse the same artwork on each side. They give you something new in each one, and it looks really nice. I think I prefer the right side of the package with all of them looking straight on. That looks really incredible to me. If you wonder what the figures look like as they come in the box, there is a cardboard flap that flips over and houses all of this stuff and kind of encloses all of this stuff in, so it's not just loose flopping around. You can see the three different Spider-Men, Tobey on the left, Tom in the middle, and Andrew on the right, nestled in their plastic-free packaging. Here we have our guys opened up and out of the package, and taking a closer look at each one of them, you can see them all standing together and see how they size up next to one another. We sort of put them in this order because this is how they appeared in the films. In their releases, you've got Tobey, Andrew, and Tom, and boy, they are looking incredible. They look so good. The detailing, the little divots in the suits for Tobey and Andrew, the tech lines, and all the gold paint for Tom. Man, these are just three great Marvel Legends figures that I'm so happy they give us in these different physiques and these different body types that, you know, are pretty much unique to Tobey and to Andrew. And I really appreciate them going the extra mile for this, because this is an amazing set, and one I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there like me never thought we would get a Marvel Legends Tobey or Andrew. So thanks to the studio for putting them in the movie and doing what they did with No Way Home, because that just drove the Hasbro Marvel Legends team to be able to create this awesome box set, which I just absolutely love. Just seeing them all there together, their different heights, their different body weights, different physiques, just looks absolutely incredible. What a great set. Just taking a closer look at the friendly neighborhood Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and you can just see how like the eyes are bright and vibrant. You can see all of the webbing and the lines, the spider logo on his chest, coming down into that straight point on his belt, which looks really nice. I love all the detail and texture on his pants, and you can see the nice silver webbing on his boots. Man, he just looks great. That silver webbing, the webs are raised, and that silver webbing just absolutely brings this figure to life. Looking at him on the back, you can see that again, that nice silver webbing is just, the paint is nice and clean throughout the entire figure. No paint splotches on mine, thankfully. You can see that nice big spider logo on the back. Again, the belt wrapping around, some of that texture on the little spider butt there, and then continuing that texture on down the legs and back into the boots again, which I really like. That nice silver cuff around the top of the boot looks really nice. Of course, Toby does come with 6 different style of hands. He has 2 web shooting hands, 2 gesturing, grabbing, wall crawling hands, if that's what you want to call them, and then 2 fists, which are great for punching baddies. Taking a look at the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, my personal favorite of the bunch, you can see that he is nice and all the web lines are nice and clean. The eyes are big and bright and look absolutely great. That nice shiny spider on his suit, which is coming across a little darker than it is actually in hand. In hand, it's a lot like a dark gray. I love all of that coming down into his nice slender physique in the front, into that belt. Looks really nice. That texturing continuing down on the legs, and then down into the sleeker boots, which it doesn't have a big enough cuff. It doesn't have as big as a cuff as Tobey Maguire's spider suit does, which looks really nice. They actually look like actual boots that he would have pulled up onto his legs. Taking a look at the back of the spider suit, you can see starting at the very bottom, the boots look really nice. That texture on the legs going up the calves and up the back of the thighs to the spider butt. Oh, you can actually see the web shooters there. That's kind of neat. I love that belt. And then that big, huge, long, slender spider on his back looks great. And then finishing up to nice, clean paintwork on the back of the head. Just like Toby, Andrew comes with 2 web-slinging hands, one right kind of wall-crawling hand. His left hand is kind of like maybe holding a cell phone or gesturing or pointing. It looks kind of neat. And then 2 fist cuffs. Taking a look at the Tom Holland Spider-Man, this is the integrated suit, so it's got a lot of gold, and I love the mask. Looks nice and big. The eyes are bright and look great. I love the web work on the head. The nice gold logo on the chest looks really good. All the gold line work. All the webbing looks nice and clean. And instead of being raised, it's like indented, which is really cool. You've got the gauntlets that he has in the film, the tech lines going down, some texture on the thighs looks really good, and then the boots, which are nice and clean. Flipping around here on the back, you can see those boots are really nice and cleaned up and look really nice on the back with that gold line work, and the webs look great. The texture on the legs, the texture on the spider butt. There's his gauntlets again from a different angle. The gold spider on the back looks really good, and then it just all kind of culminates into those spider webs at the top of his head, which look great. Now, this isn't the first time Marvel Legends has actually used this particular spider body. We've seen it before. Now, I don't have that figure, but I did dig up an image of one online to where you can kind of see the differences in the figure. First of all, it's the exact same body, same sculpt, same articulation and everything, but on the other figure, instead of being more of a bluish gray, his suit was more of a dark gray, no blue in it at all. It was more of a flatter gold and not as shiny. And then the web lines were not painted in the indentations. And then the body was a much brighter red. So this was the mainline release that came out when the movie was released. And I'm really thinking that the one we got in this box set is a huge upgrade. And then Tom also comes with 2 web-slinging hands, 2 wall-crawling hands, and then 2 fists. Tom's the only one that comes with 2 proper wall-crawling hands, and I think that's a pretty cool touch. And then they do come with these tried-and-true, used-to-death webs. At least this time they're in a more clear, translucent plastic, and they're very flimsy and stringy, so they flow and move really, really good. You could wrap up some bad guys with these, no problem at all. All right, so why don't we tackle these guys in the order that they appeared on screen in the movies, and we'll start with the Friendly Neighborhood, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and this guy just looks incredible. Now, I have heard some complaints that, people are like, his eyes are not close enough together or angled in the right way, but I just don't get that nitpicky about my action figures, apparently, because I think he looks incredible. I think he looks great. I like the silver paint on all of the webbing, and all the webbing is raised. I like the size and the shape of the bat symbol. I mean, the bat symbol. Listen, the spider symbol on his chest. I wish it was a little darker. It's a little like a dark metal, like a gunmetal gray. I wish it was a black, but that's just me personally. I think it looks really nice. I love the belt. I love the texture on the pants, which I hope is coming across on camera. It looks really nice. And there's the boots, which look great. Flipping around here on the back, you can see the spider on his back, which does continue on up underneath the sculpt. So if you bend him forward too far, you're going to get a gap, but a little bit, the sculpt does continue on. I like the size. And yes, there is a slight color variation between this spider. It's a little more red than this spider part right there. It's a little darker. But I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me. I hardly ever will see these guys from behind. And then when you leaning forward or leaning back, you can see the webbing does go up underneath that top joint. Now, as far as articulation goes, he can look up quite a bit, which is really good. I really dig that. He can look down quite a bit, which is nice. Is this neck piece a separate? Look at that. That almost looks like a separate piece. It is. Why is mine loose like that? That's kind of weird. I'll have to check with my friends that got this too and see if theirs is like that. You have this really nice butterfly joint where you can bend his arms backwards or have them come across a decent amount in the front. I mean, that's really good for a Marvel Legends figure, I feel. He can, of course, hit way greater than a T pose, almost hit a Y pose. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows, which is absolutely fantastic. And it can go back about that far. Hinged in and out at the hands, which is really nice. An upper diaphragm joint with its on a ball peg, so you can rotate forward, back. He can crunch forward. Let's get this arm out of the way. He can crunch forward that far, which is incredible, and he can crunch back all the way, which just is abnormal, which is absolutely crazy. There's no waist swivel because of the way the joints are made. He can kick forward all the way. Upper thigh swivel. There is a drop down. He can only go back about that far. Double jointed pinless knees, can go all the way back, kick his own butt. And then a very nice hinge, swivel, and pivot down at the foot. And I just love the proportions on this particular set. And I really hope that down in the main line in the future, I hope they re-release the Spider-Man with a Tobey Maguire head sculpt. I would buy it again. I would hate to have to double dip, but I would love to get a Tobey Maguire head sculpt. I think that would look absolutely fantastic. Now let's move on to my personal favorite Spider-Man, and that is going to be the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Andrew is the perfect Spider-Man as far as I'm concerned. He is my favorite. I liked him best as Peter Parker. I like him best as Spider-Man. I thought he was the wittiest, the funniest. I thought he had the most smart-ass attitude. He was great. I know the complaints about the films, but for me, Andrew was perfect, and I'm glad to see him get a proper send-off in No Way Home, and I hope that Sony brings him back and lets him play Spider-Man again in a third movie. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Now, I will say that I don't like the suit in the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. I understand why they went that way, but it's not my favorite suit. But his suit in the second movie was perfect as far as I'm concerned, and that's the figure that we get here. I love the big eyes. I love the clean lines around his on the mask. Look absolutely great. I love his physique. I think the body proportions are spot on. I like his taller, leaner physique. I love the sculpting around the sides of his body. Look absolutely great. I love the dark spider that's on his chest. Looks great. I think the size is good. I've heard complaints it's a little large, but I like it. I'd rather it be a little bigger than too small. I do like that of all the figures, he's the one that has the spider, like his web shooters actually sculpted on. I wish they were silver, but that's okay. I think I can take care of that with a little dab of paint. I like the texture of his pants, which looks really good. The boots look real clean and nice, and I actually really like the spider that's on his back. It looks really good. I like that it's long and skinny, and I love the placement of it. If you bend it, you can see that the sculpt does go up underneath. As far as the articulation goes, He can look all the way up, which is really nice. He can look down quite a bit, which is great. Lots of super head tilt to get all that emotion in there. I like the butterfly joint right here, so that he can reach all the way across in front of him, which is really nice. He can lean all the way back, which is great. Arms can go up in much greater than a T-pose. Not quite a Y pose, but much greater than a T-pose, which is really nice. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows, which is great because he can tighten all the way up, which is really good. We got this really nice diaphragm joint, this upper diaphragm joint, lean all the way back, side to side, forward. He can crunch forward about that far, and he can lean back an abnormal amount, which is crazy. Again, no waist swivel because of the way the articulation is done. He can kick really far forward, which is really great. He can kick back about that far, which is super nice. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees. He can go all the way back and kick his own butt. And then nice hinge, pivot, and swivel down at the ankle. And that is a look at the Andrew Spider-Man, probably my favorite of the group. All right, and then that will bring us to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Now, we've already took a little look at, a small comparison at this figure compared to the other one that had come out, the integrated suit that was released earlier. So we now know the differences between that suit and this suit. I do like the more bluish gray color on this suit. I think it looks really nice. And something I did want to show off is that the bracelets are removable, so you can take each one of them off and then you can put the hand back on if you don't want them, but it does sort of have like this little gauntlet look. It almost looks like something's missing. So to each their own. I think I don't like that gap on there, so I think what I'm going to do is just leave these on, even though I prefer a more streamlined suit. But this is the suit that he had. I wish we'd have gotten the Tom Holland suit that he wore at the end of No Way Home when he was swinging through the snow. I think that would have been a better choice just for me personally, since we haven't gotten that suit yet and we did have this one already. But that's just me personally. This time you can see that we do have the painted webs, which are very nice and clean, and they are sculpted in there. You can actually feel them, which is really nice. I really like the tech lines and the gold accents on the boots, and then looking at the spider on the back looks really nice as well. As far as articulation goes, he can look up about that far. He can look down all the way, which is nice. He does have that really nice butterfly joint to cross over in front of his chest. He can pull back only about that far, which isn't the greatest far, unless it's just stuck. Can't seem to, seems like it's sculpted where it wants to go back further, but it just doesn't go back that far. As far as the arms go, he can go up about that far. He does stop at that T-pose because of the way that his shoulders are sculpted. It has that upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows. Gets about that far. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. He can crunch forward only that far. He does not have 2 points of articulation in his chest, but he does have a waist swivel, which is something the other Spider-Men don't. He can crouch or lean back about that far, and that's kind of cool that he's the only one with the waist swivel, which is neat. He can kick forward that far, only kick back about that far. Double jointed pinless knees. Come on, there you go. Can go all the way back, but not quite kick his own butt, and then pivot, hinge, and swivel down at the ankle. And this is a really cool Spider-Man to have in the group. Again, I would have rather had that last ending swing through the city in the snow suit, but I'm not mad at this. It looks really good, and I know what they were going for there. They were going for that hero shot of all three of them together on the top of the Statue of Liberty at the end of the movie. And but I'm just glad they made some upgrades to the suits, because it's not exactly the same one we got before. And that's always going the extra mile, and I appreciate it that it didn't just throw it in. Now, as far as the size comparisons go, Tobey's Spider-Man stands much taller than Tom, and of course Andrew stands much taller than both of them together, which is as it should be. But that looks really nice. And just to bring in one more on-screen Spider-Man, let's bring in the other Marvel Legends Japanese Spider-Man, and he is even taller than Toby, which is, I mean, even taller than Andrew, which is pretty crazy. This is a great set, and I am digging it. So let's get them under some lighting, into some dynamic poses, into some backgrounds, and see how they pose up. This is a set that I'm really lucky that I got. I missed the pre-order way back when it was pre-ordered, I think back in like March or whatever. I missed out on it then, and was really lucky enough just a few weeks ago to catch it in stock on Hasbro Pulse. Snatched it up as soon as I could, and I'm super glad I did, because I love Spider-Man. He's my third favorite superhero. He's my second favorite superhero of all time, next to Batman. And so having this set with my three favorite Spider-Man all together in it is just absolutely great. This is a fantastic set. Yes, I would have liked a little bit more. I would have liked head sculpts for all three of the guys. An Andrew, a Toby, a Tom head sculpt, I think, would have sealed the deal for me. They could have even charged $10 more and made this a $100 set, and I would have paid that to get those extra heads. And maybe they'll give us the Tom and Toby head. I mean, the Toby and Andrew heads down the line. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But we get what we get. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please continue to check us out over at Instagram.com/Saturday Morning Toy Collector. This has been the Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I'm your host, Mark. And please remember that I will see you in the toy aisles.